When we talk about continuous radiation spectra, we have two laws that describe the curves that we get if we plot the intensity of the light versus the wavelength. So the intensity is the vertical axis here, which basically means how much light is being released. And then the horizontal axis are the different wavelengths. Remember that what we were saying in general is that for something that's heated up, as it goes from warm to hotter, the color will sort of change from red to bluish or whitish. And this tells us that the color of an object has something to do with its temperature. This is related to what we call Wiens Law. So in this curve, let's see what's going to happen as we change the temperature. So let's go to a very low temperature. As we go to a very low temperature, notice that this whole curve is in the infrared, which is very long wavelengths. And the peak is way over here, again in infrared, which means that really this wouldn't be visible to us, and if it was, it wouldn't be visible to us unless we had like those night vision goggles. As we increase the temperature to a little bit higher, notice that we start to produce light in the visible spectrum. And if I go right around here, notice the peak of this curve is going to be very close to the red wavelength. So this object right here, represented by this curve, would probably be starting to glow red. And as I continue to higher temperatures and my peak moves more towards the left part of the wavelengths, more towards the blue and purple, this object is going to glow with a more bluish tint to it. So Wiens Law basically says that the peak, the highest point on this curve where the most light is being produced, is inversely related to the temperature, because as the temperature goes up, the peak occurs at shorter wavelengths. Now the Stefan-Boltzmann Law is talking about, in general, how high this curve is, which is how much energy is being released, because the light is energy. And again, as we raise the temperature, the peak gets bigger and bigger, which means more and more energy is being released, and vice versa. As we go down in temperature, less and less energy is being released. Stefan-Boltzmann Law says that in general, the amount of energy released is related to the temperature raised to the fourth power.